Previously on American Fighter Pilot.
Welcome to the 95th Fighter Squadron.
The Air Force's elite Top Gun program welcomed its new students to Panama City, Florida.
And I don't even know how to start the jet.
Mike Love, father of two and former B-1 pilot.
I haven't been a student in a while. There's some apprehension on my part. I'm an older guy.
Marcus Gregory, a deeply religious, expectant father.
There's a lot of stuff to learn.
And Todd Giggy, a swaggering platinum blonde son of a former fighter pilot.
Todd Giggy. This guy walks in and he looks like a 7th grader in a flight suit.
You're Boner 5.
These guys listen to Backstreet Boys and we listen to Van Halen.
But before these men can fly, they first had to pass the simulator. And while Mike and Marcus sailed through, Giggy once again stood out for all the wrong reasons.
You know you'll burn this thing up.
This week, as Marcus and Mike take their first flight in the F-15, Giggy remains grounded and faces elimination from the program.
His dream's in jeopardy.
3 men, 110 days of training to fly the F-15 Eagle, the greatest fighter jet in the sky. Only one will be Top Gun. In the end, war awaits, and a nation is calling for heroes. Tonight, the quest to be Top Gun continues.
We're the brightest beacon for freedom and opportunity in the world, and no one will keep that light from shining. Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation.
This is a big week here for this class. It's going to be the first time we take them out to the flight line and start flying. The only exception to that is Lieutenant Giggy still has some problems in the simulator. He won't be touching an airplane until he gets through working through those problems.
Mission, first flight. Objective, student pilots must take off, fly, and land the F-15 Eagle for the first time. An instructor pilot will be aboard. Senior Ranking Officer Mike Love is first up.
The first fight in the Eagle is a great moment for any Eagle driver. I hope my kids will be proud of me. I think they'll be proud of me for flying the F-15. Any father wants their children to be proud of them, especially now. Flying the F-15, it's important to me because I so remember this instructor I had at the Air Force Academy whose little kids said to him one day, "Daddy, you're the greatest fighter pilot in the whole world," and I want my kids to say that someday.
The IPs, which is slang term for instructor pilots, are paired with each of these students.
I'm Major Denny Scarborough. I'm assigned to Mike Love. He's the B-1 guy. Mike's first flight, I want to tell him this is it. He's worked all his life to get to this one flight, the first flight in the Eagle. Don't do anything stupid. We've trained you well to this point.
Are you ready to go?
The day of the first flight in the F-15 is so memorable because you gear up and your heart is swelling with pride. I climb on the pilot bus and start on my way out to the jet, and my heart is pumping. At this point, you haven't flown anything. You've just been in the books and academics. So the first ride means you've transitioned now from just talking about how to fly, just simulating how to fly, to actually putting some of those skills to the test. You see the jet sitting there, you know you're gonna climb into this thing and jump into the air, and it is such a cool feeling. Such a cool feeling.
That's an awe-inspiring thing for a fledgling fighter pilot. You climb way up that ladder, you sit up there high, you start the airplane, and the IP and the instructor pilot in the back is kind of coaching you, and the airplane starts, and there's noises, and it's shaking, and the ramps are going up and down. and you're actually doing in the airplane what you've been practicing for all this time. I can still remember my very first Eagle flight.
You've got this big bubble canopy around you. It's like you're sitting on top of the world.
Quick climb, 15,000 block, 17,000 approved, wind 01010, runway 31 right, cleared for takeoff.
I know that Todd's struggling a little bit. He's messed up.
Personally, I know how I'd be feeling if I was Lieutenant Giggy right now, but I can virtually guarantee you that in his mind, he's a long way from flying this jet or solo in the Eagle. He's got his hands full right now just getting through these simulators.
2 busted sim rides with an enormous amount of pressure to fix it.
It's do or die, get the job done or go home.
I'm shooting myself in the foot by screwing up this early in the program. You get to the point where you just have such rage because you are so pissed off at what you've done wrong, and you just can't even deal with it. You get so pissed off that you just want to scream. And you can't back up and do it again. You got to wait, and there's only so many rides in this program.
If you don't pass this initial simulator check, you're out of the course. You can't progress. You'll be removed from training.
So I need to take care of business with these simulators and then move on to flying, where hopefully I can do better.
We have 26 F-15s assigned to each squadron here. About 7 of those are what we call 2-seat models, the family models. It allows us to teach students to take off and land, get them through the basics. Every time there's a new phase that they enter, there's normally an IP in their back seat to make sure that he's doing everything right. You actually got to just go out there and do it and get the butterflies out and make it happen.
The F-15 accelerates so fast that before you know it, the nose is coming up and you're just trying to hang on and keep up with the airplane.
Yukon with Attila, passing 300 for the block 15.
All this wait, months of waiting to get an opportunity to fly the F-15. And it comes down to a beautiful Florida day and the sun is shining. It's awesome.
Prime, nose coming down. A little high to turn there. Good. Take the models fine. Nose coming down.
It's like being a little kid and thinking about what it must have been like to be Buck Rogers or something in a rocket ship, only you're in something more cool than a rocket ship because you are Buck Rogers that day.
When you take a look at all these students as a group, the guy I'm really looking at as maybe the front runner right now is Captain Love. And the reason for that is he's got a vast amount of Air Force flying experience. He was a B-1 pilot. He was a T-38 instructor pilot. He's got legions more flight hours than any of the other students in his class. And then we got the tail end of this class, Lieutenant Giggy, who's still stuck in the simulators.
I'm struggling here in the sims a little bit, and that's rather unfortunate. The best way I figured I could improve was to basically get some help from another guy, to go over there and just kind of do a sim on my own. Not anything that's scheduled, not anything in the syllabus. Marcus Gregory, he was real cool about it. I asked him, I said, hey dude, do you have some extra time? Can you basically give me an emergency procedure sim? He said, no problem.
You've got to help each other out to make it through. All of us have our strengths and weaknesses, and no single person can make it through on their own.
Marcus, he's really got a great handle on this stuff. He's a real methodical thinker, and from day one, he's been way ahead of the game. Tower Golf Zone 2, clear to takeoff 3-1, right?
With the risk of not being able to fly anymore if we don't make it through, I mean, none of us wants to see that happen to someone else.
If somebody's having a problem, you know, everybody bends over backwards to help that person out.
All right. Oil looks good, hydraulics good.
I'm not ashamed to admit to him that, hey, I was having a problem, and hey, watch me sit in here and flail through this.
Warning, engine soft, Bones 1-2 emergency. Bones 1-2, soft, go ahead.
Had a engine fire on the right side.
Copy, you have an engine fire on the right side. Do you need any assistance at this time?
Bones 1-2, plan to combat jet the wing tanks and dump fuel from the center line tank.
Bones 1-2 soft, just a minute. Before you dump any fuel, confirm you've completed the checklist, the fire is out, and you've tested the fire circuit.
Bones 1-2 will go. He walked me through basically an entire profile again, gave me the dial of disaster, and he was real good about it. The guy's so methodical, and he's really good at this sort of thing, so he's able to talk me through a whole bunch of stuff. Right now, on the left side. Bones 1-2, the pitch ratio and roll ratio light that I received earlier have cleared themselves up. No apparent problem. It'll definitely help me for my next simulator, having practice with Marcus.
Your first time flying the F-15. That is very significant to me because this is what I wanted to do, and I'm actually getting to do it. I'm in the jet.
Mike Love is out on his first ride in the F-15 right now. And the thing he's got to understand is that this is the easy stuff. This is just the basics. What comes next is air-to-air combat and how we teach these guys to be American fighter pilots and use the F-15 as a weapon system. You might find yourself in war the day after you graduate this course. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of hard work to come.
Overall, you did a pretty good job today. Definitely an above-average ride, definitely a pass.
It is almost too hard to put into words how great of a day it was.
Well, I realize the importance of the simulator tomorrow. I know it's a big deal. It's essential that you pass this hurdle before you can do anything great in this jet. So I'm taking it really seriously, plan on getting a good night's sleep, and just try to walk in the door with some confidence tomorrow and get the job done.
Being an F-15 fighter pilot is an extremely dangerous job. The chances of us not coming home are there every single time we take the jet off. With that in mind, it is very important that we spend quality time with our families at every opportunity we have.
Roderick, I think I lost a dad ball. After flying it today, I really wanted to take a break and go play golf with Broderick.
Which way are you going to aim?
South for the winter.
He's really intense for such a little guy about playing.
Oh, there's a good hit. Nice one.
I mean, I really have to watch out because any given day he could probably beat me out there. He's like my little Tiger Woods.
I got to make this or you beat me?
Hey! Pilot meeting, main briefing room.
About once a week, we get together with all the instructor pilots in the squadron main briefing room.
Okay, y'all ready?
One of the big things we talk about is how are the students doing.
Giggy.
Giggy. No.
What's with him hooking 2 cents? One of the things that we're seeing from Giggy is the personality issue. I know he drives a bike, I know he has a Porsche, and I know the color of his hair is all whacked.
I get endless about my hair.
Is it his girlfriend that said he colored his hair? His
Frau.
Oh, so he's married?
Yeah.
Part of being a fighter pilot is not being a complete wuss.
So
Frosty.
He's a total wuss then if let that happen.
The instructor pilots have kind of latched on to Lieutenant Giggy just in general. He's usually the first one that we bring up, and we usually get a few laughs.
Now, if you want to highlight yourself in less than optimum or negative ways, you're going to incur some wrath. Especially if you don't have any clout to stand on at all. You've got to be kidding.
It's not like, well, I really hope to fit in someday.
Actually, my pickup is parked right beside this Porsche, and I'm feeling good about getting in my pickup. And dude, he just crawls into a Porsche right beside me. A red Porsche. I'm like, wow, dude. I'm gonna run over you. Okay, Anything else on Giggy? I want to see him prove that he can excel and succeed. You know, I got to commend the dude, though. He came into my shop the other day and he's asking me about defensive BFM. How do I jink? Why am I jinking up instead of sideways and all that kind of stuff? And I go, yeah, I really admire that, dude. How'd you do on Sim 8?
Come on, everybody knows that.
I think about what was it going to feel like going straight up in the air, or, you know, just the feel of the acceleration.
At the very beginning, when a student starts out flying, until they can fly the jet solo by themselves, then they're assigned to one person. And so I flew with Marcus right off the bat.
The F-15 has always been an amazing aircraft to look at, so I'm just excited about getting the chance to fly that. I mean, you can see it and you can hear it. You always wonder what it'd be like at the front end of that. I can't wait to take the runway to feel that first takeoff.
I know I have to be on my game. I have to have my mental game together to pass this particular simulator. I need to do that so I can start flying the F-15 for real. Like, it's not Top Gun with the motorcycle and all that, even though that's probably why I bought the bike. My love for fast things, it's definitely part of my lifestyle. I mean, I don't know what guys don't like sports cars and motorcycles, things that go fast. I mean, it's all cool.
It doesn't matter what you drive. It doesn't matter how you look. The only thing that matters is be able to successfully execute in this weapon system and be an integral part of our community. That's what matters. Lieutenant Giggy, his entire life could possibly be decided on this next simulator sortie.
Giggy's, he's certainly under pressure at this point. So how he reacts to the pressure of the situation is going to determine a large degree how he does and whether he passes or fails the ride.
Todd has always wanted to be a pilot. It's something that he has wanted since he was about 5 years old. And if something were to happen right now, he would just be crushed.
If you can't handle the pressure in the academic situation or the sim situation, then you may not be able to handle the pressure out there when the going gets rough.
I just looked at that sim with a sense of finality.
All right, let's go.
Basically, whatever I did was going to be documented, whether it was good or bad, and I know what I need to do, so there's no sense wasting any more precious brain bites on whether I was nervous or not. So take a deep breath and just try and do my best.
Let's do it.
And then all of a sudden you're stressing out again, and it doesn't ever end. You take off, and then all of a sudden you get an engine fire on one of your engines, which leads into multiple hydraulic failures.
You got to know every procedure. We don't memorize procedures. You just have to know the whole book. You just have to know the whole book. You got to reduce the electrical load too. Can't be running around with everything turned on, running out there a single generator. All right? So now maintain 10,000. Check altimeter 292.
If I can just be patient, take my time, I know what to do.
Yeah.
Approach Bones 12 is heading 135, 5,000 feet.
Warning, amen, fire. Warning, amen, fire.
And let's start the coordination process. Okay, what would you recommend?
Requesting single frequency approach on channel 10.
Okay.
Soft, Bones 12. Bones 12 plan to combat jet the wing tanks and dump fuel from the center line tank.
Okay, good.
Basically, it's kind of like one of those old cartoons with Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, where it's basically like Dial a Disaster.
Warning, engine fire left. Warning, engine fire left.
To be a good fighter pilot, you need to just take all that in stride and be able to just relax and apply what you know.
Bones 11 emergency, go ahead.
Sentinel approach, this is Bones 12 emergency aircraft. It had an engine problem.
We need to be single freak approach. We need to start working the issues and getting the airplane safely on the ground.
220 up to 5,000, Bones 12, switching channel 10.
All right, start coordinating. Okay, let's start dealing with it.
Take it from an old guy like Chuck Yeager, like most famous fighter pilot of all time. He says, no matter what's happening, cage yourself, refocus, take a deep breath, and don't touch anything in the cockpit until you're quite sure exactly what's going on. You figured out what it is, and then you're gonna, take the right action to fix the problem.
Warning, engine fire left.
Fly the jet, fly the jet.
Warning, engine fire left. Warning, engine fire left.
Bones 11, Roger, confirm the engine is secured, shut down, and fire warning circuitry is good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you got everything done?
At the completion of the sim, I wasn't sure if I'd passed or not. I know that I handled most of the things fairly well, most of the stuff that was thrown at me, but made some mistakes. So, I took the headset off, walked out of the sim, and I just wasn't quite sure where it was going, whether it's going south or not.
Well, here we are. What can I say? It's gonna make a real short debrief because I really don't have a whole lot to talk to you about. Well, here we are. What can I say? It's going to make a real short debrief because I really don't have a whole lot to talk to you about.
My final basic checkout sim wasn't exactly a stellar performance, but it was adequate.
Some guys, Todd, it just takes a little bit of time to figure it out, okay? And I'm really happy that you made it through this one because...
And I'll take it at this point because I need to press forward and get into the flying that I really want to do. I'm just ready to get on to flying the jet.
And I'm real proud of you. And let's press on, put that behind you, and let's move on to bigger and better things.
Money, I passed.
Finally, all the gerbils lined up, and he did what he was supposed to do. He flew the airplane. I'm elated. I wouldn't want to go through that again with him, and I know he's probably got a smile on him like a big old Cheshire cat, and so I'm happy for him, and he done good.
The weight is just off my shoulders. I feel like a lot, I don't know, I feel an incredible sense of relief.
We just wanted to get together with friends and dance and have a couple of drinks to celebrate and toast Todd's victory. Todd thinks he's a good dancer. I won't say that he could ever be a Backstreet Boy, but he's an okay dancer.
There's always trouble when we cast off our moral restraints.
Growing up, some of the scenes you see of just fighter pilots, for example, things like from Top Gun, you see lots of images of pilots just going out having a great time. You don't see much of families.
Marcus tends to be the shy one. Always seems like he's hanging in the corner of the bar and just kind of observing what's going on.
When we disobey God, there are always consequences.
As I thought about starting this, I had those perceptions that were created from movies in my mind, and they didn't necessarily fit with my faith.
Now there's hostility and there's disobedience in the world, and it's not too long do we have the account of Cain killing Abel. Now there's hatred and murder springing up.
My faith is very important to me. Everyone seeks to find their purpose, and it is the most important thing in my life.
My challenge with Marcus is to take all those moral traits that he obviously values, but still try to bring him into our crowd a little bit. Here's the greatest fighter pilot to ever live, to Mr. Bones!
So at the squadron, when Peter catered wings one night, I chose to go home because I'd rather spend time with my wife and my family than hanging out with the Hooters girls. A lot of the single guys enjoyed hanging out with the women. One of the things that's important to me as a Christian, as a husband, I keep my wife's trust. But it's not an issue because I know I'm not going to do something to throw that away.
It's a lot of fun having those girls around just because it lightens up the atmosphere in the bar. And I know that the guys like that after a long day.
I'm going to go out and teach you how to crank the jet, take off, land, learn how to feel the jet. This jet really talks to you out there.
My name's Kevin Devitt Nicholson. Todd Giggy was assigned to me as a primary student instructor. The first day that he kind of walked in the building, kind of looked at him, and he was Mr. Pretty Boy. It looked like he'd be a challenge immediately.
Use every bit of our gas on every mission.
I am focused, and I am driven, and I'm finally flying the jet I always wanted to fly.
You know, I could always use the extra 2,000 pounds of gas to show you one more thing for the day.
Devitt Nicholson and Lieutenant Giggy were paired up. They're kind of an odd couple in a way.
Going out, we've got some bingos out there.
He's a total Southern boy. I'm from Colorado, so you know, we get into all kinds of arguments and stuff. We're always giving each other a hard time.
Dude, trust me on this one. I made the same argument and I lost it, 4 years ago. So just listen up. The door has been opened. He's been given the license to go out and fly this wonderful aircraft. I think he thinks he's going to be able to do it, right the very first time. We'll see about that.
We will talk about getting out of the jet. We'll talk about ejecting, but we will never use the word bailout until it's time to get out.
I'm going to be able to just climb up that ladder, start this jet, and spend the taxpayers' money to go out and get some world-class training. I mean, holy cow, that's what I've always wanted to do. And I can't believe they're going to trust me to do it.
First flight is the first time that we go up in the F-15. We've had the simulators, so we know how to, if something goes wrong, we know how to handle that. We know a lot about the systems and all through academics, but we still haven't flown the aircraft yet. So this is the first time where we go out and we're in the front and we fly it.
When he gets out to the jet in the first ride, it's a big jet. It's a very, very big jet, and you're looking at it, you're going, I'm going to fly that by myself. I briefed him. He's ready for this ride. Let's see how he handles it.
He's going to be sitting in the back seat, and you want them to have a good impression of you because you know they're going to talk, and you know they're going to share how you did.
Marcus, he actually did pretty well. through about the first hour of the flight. Went out to the airspace, did some advanced handling, some acrobatic maneuvers.
Roll out.
It's like incredible roller coaster ride. Incredible roller coaster ride.
So you're let roll set. Now pull back to 70 degrees, no side. Pull it back. Pull it back. What's wrong? Can you take the jet? I got the jet.
He asked me to take the jet, which means I'll fly. It's very difficult in the F-15 to fly from the back seat because you can't see very well. But I was flying, and then I didn't have any idea why at first.
What's wrong? Just a touch of air sickness.
Probably not the best first flight in the F-15, but clearly one that he's going to remember. And we'll take a look at that, but we will make sure everything's all right with him.
Okay, you got the jet. Okay. You feel better?
Yeah.
All right. What about 2 or 3 more if you don't mind?
Actually, let's make this first one straight if you don't mind.
Straighted?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we do TR2, you're going to have to run and go see the flight surgeon.
Oh, man.
He's just going to make sure you're not sick or anything like that. He'll look in your inner ear, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I sucked, but it was fun. So I was a little nauseous on my first flight. There's no hiding near that. That's all going to come out. You know, they always talk about people. And Abu shared that with everybody.
He's the one on TR1 who puked in the final turn.
Oh,
no. Chunks. I look out of the corner of my eye and I see that barf bag. But that.
Yeah! All I can think of
Bagger.
do we even have barf bags in the squadron? Where did you get that?
Shots for four! Where did you get that barf?
I went to Colonel Freeney afterwards and told him about it. He goes, well, have him go see the doc just in case.
I had a touch of air sickness too, so I could go talk to the flight doc.
And I kind of fault myself when he got sick. Maybe I could have handled it a little better, because maybe we shattered a little bit of his confidence, sending him over to the flight surgeon, over to the penalty box.
I got a lot to learn.
I would have made fun of him and ridiculed him for being a wuss boy, for getting sick. I'm just kidding.
So we kind of pat him on the back and tell him a few white lies. Sure, everybody does that.
What's wrong? Just a touch of air sickness.
One bout of air sickness is not a big deal, but if it happens over and over and continually, that's not a good thing. Obviously, you're a single-seat fighter pilot. You can't be throwing up every time you turn around. Clearly, we don't want him to solo if he's got an air-sick problem.
When Michael is home, it's nice, and we have quality family time.
So we're gonna come back here, and there'll be another half hour. I'll feed Braden. We'll hang out.
We continually, it's a daily process. We're evaluating how these guys are progressing. Mike specifically, you know, he's working hard at balancing both work and at home.
When I choose the family over the potential to maybe hang out with the guys, I think it means so much because it reminds her that I do put my family first.
See, my children are my life to me. That's all when he's gone so much, I have to be there for my kids because he can't be there for them.
I cannot describe Mari without describing as how great mom she is.
Keep it.
No, don't keep it.
Don't keep it. Put it back?
Yeah.
What?
She is the most fantastic mother to my children that I could have ever found. And she does that while still being a great wife to me.
I guess you're worth it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Giggy's first ride in the F-15, and Divott's his instructor that's going to be in the back seat.
Giggy talked to me this afternoon. He's walking on cloud 9, and he'll be here in the morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to go.
All of the instructors know that Giggy has struggled through the emergency procedure sims. Maybe his academic knowledge isn't what it should be. And so for Divott, right now, being in the back seat with Giggy on his very first ride, kind of a tough pill to swallow there.
Do I think I pulled the short stick in getting Giggy?
Would I like to be Divott in this case? Not really.
Okay, pre-step. Make sure that you're signed out up there. You already signed out, I saw that. But
Before the instructors are going to turn you loose with some $40 million airplane out there. So you go through emergency procedure after emergency procedure.
Check the gun system. We'll go over all that stuff on the walk around.
When Todd told me that he was going to fly the F-15, I was so excited for him.
Realize anytime you need to stop immediately, a 3-point attitude with full anti-lock brakes is the quickest way to stop the jet.
He finally gets to be in the jet of his dreams.
All right, you ready to go handle it? Show me how to fly? Okay.
During this up-and-coming phase that we're going through to get ready for his solo flight, the biggest thing he's got to do is show me that he can handle the aircraft in a positive manner, and I mean to where it's not wishy-washy.
He is going to be doing some really crazy things in the air, and that's really scary. I've told him my worries, and all he ever says to me is, Lori, we're the most highly trained people out there. We know what we're doing, but I sure hope he knows it in every single situation because there's so many things that can happen up there.
My concern right now is, as he walks out the door, having had a few stumbles in simulators, what's going to happen when he gets into the jet for the first time?
This one also goes over the strap, kind of holds. That way, if you hit the water, it holds these things down instead of floating up high. And this goes underneath you. Going out to the airplane, he knew exactly what he was doing on the ground. Then we got in the cockpit. A lot of students, they don't want to ask you if they don't know something. They're worried you're going to slap them around for it. But he straight up asked, "Hey, how exactly do I do this?" Well, great. I'll tell you. He asked some questions. We got the jet cranked, went out and flew.
First takeoff in that jet is absolutely amazing because you're not used to that kind of power, and it just puts you right in the back of the seat, and that's something that you're not used to. And it's definitely something that I wasn't prepared for.
He had a nice firm grip on the aircraft. He seems like he's going to be one that straps on the aircraft and make it follow him where he wants to go.
And you're basically just putting the jet through its paces.
He's about to solo here before long, and that will be a very big day. When we put you on a $30 million jet by yourself, it's pretty intimidating.
I was so far behind the jet, I think I was still standing on the ground when Divott in the back seat was starting to talk about stuff up in the air.
Okay, what were your problems on that one?
It took me too long to get to low rate beaver, so I bled out too much energy.
Lieutenant Giggy, he made the standard mistakes that everybody else does. Not a big deal, though. I told him that if an emergency comes up, it's yours. I'm not going to take control of your aircraft. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're going to handle the emergency until the point that I think you're going to create more damage or endanger yourself. I've yet to have to take over an emergency process for a student.
All right, climb up to 20,000 feet. We're doing a brake turn at 20,000 today.
Yes, sir.
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, terminate. If you OG, you will owe me heavily, boy.
Sir. So he's just kind of coaching me along. A whole lot of dude, don't do that, and dude, you're screwing that up kind of stuff.
Are you going to favor the bearing pointer or the course needle?
Well, we're already splitting the 26 DMA arc. We need to go to 33, so I'm going to favor the course slightly.
Correct. Or you could fly out to 33, so when you turn back, you could split them, right?
That's about my plan, huh? I'm not thinking, man. Sometimes.
Keep going. All the way, stick. Okay, that's good. You know, you worried about impressing me is not what you need to do. You just need to worry about getting your airplane back to the field and landing properly, and it'll all be okay.
Yes, sir.
It clears you to 180 for the approach, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking you need about a 150 heading.
10 to approach, rappel lines, leaving path on the approach.
You can also start your descent, correct?
Yes, sir.
Germany Sky 10, straight in, northwest at me right.
10 to approach, rappel lines, passing 16.5 on the approach.
Manzo 423, Yankee contact, Tallahassee approach 135.
Gigi has struggled with emergency procedures, and the one thing that you would not want him to have to deal with would be a real emergency in the air. And guess what? He gets one. As he's coming in for a landing, something happens to the jet that the brakes aren't working right.
All right, now you can put your nose down.
I remember looking out on the flight line and thinking to myself, that doesn't look right. And I remember telling everybody, that guy's going too fast for the amount of runway remaining.
Stop, 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 stop.
That's full brakes.
That's a full brake?
Yeah.
And even never having done this before, I knew something was fairly terribly wrong. And so I had no idea what kind of danger I was in, ready to just cruise off the end of the runway and topple the plane over and kill myself.
Divot is yelling at Gigi from the back seat to get on the brakes and stop the jet. Gigi has his feet all the way to the floor, and the jet is not stopping.
I reach up there, and he's got the brakes all the way to the ground. There are maybe 3 to 5 seconds at most in which all this stuff occurs, but I've got to make some decisions right now. I'm just thinking about this aircraft, and quite frankly, I'm thinking about me.
At about 180 miles an hour, Gigi's starting to run out of options. He's running out of runway, and he's running out of time. He and Divot are either going to live or die, depending on what Gigi does next.
Stay tuned for scenes from our next episode. Next time on American Fighter Pilot, Gigi's brakes are broken and 2 lives are at stake. Mike struggles through torturous centrifuge training.
Went unconscious.
And will Marcus have to choose between fatherhood and the F-15?
You can really only focus on one thing at a time.
The quest to be Top Gun continues.